Hello students, welcome to Nagesh Karasge Orchid School. Myself Snehal Mane, teaching you maths and science for grade 6. Students, as you know, we are solving your all doubts in the Google Meet sessions. Probably all the doubts are being solved, but there are few doubts which is asked on the WhatsApp number given to you. As you know, school has provided one WhatsApp number wherein you all can ask your doubts. So there are few majority of questions asked by you. So in this class today we are going to solve doubts which were asked by you for the subjects like English, Maths and Science. So let us start doubt solving session with the subject Maths. The doubts asked by majority of the students are mainly from the International System of Numeration, estimation by general rule and expanding brackets. So let us solve one by one. The first doubt is regarding International System of Numeration. As students have difficulty in understanding the commas where to be given. So let us take a number. So this is the number. As you know, in International System of Numeration, we give the commas after every 3 digits from the right side. As we know, in International System of Numeration, when a number is given, we give the commas after every 3 digits from the right side. Now, after giving the commas, we have to write its place value. So let us write the place value. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. Here it comes 100,000, million, 10 million and 100 million. Okay students, once again I will repeat, observe it carefully. Whenever in International System of Numeration we give the commas after every 3 digits from right side. And after giving the commas we have to write its place value. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, million, 10 million and 100 million. As we have written now the place value, now we are going to write the number. Let us write the number. 423 million. Okay students, see here 423 million. Then 619,000 and the remaining is 436. So in this way we write the International System of Numerations. Okay, so remember the steps, give the commas, write the place value and then write the number. Okay, so the next question asked is regarding estimation. As we have rounded up the numbers to nearest hundreds, nearest thousands and nearest tens, this is the same example. So let us take example for solving estimation, that is 47 plus 132 and 3621. So this is the question. Okay, now here we have to find the estimation by general rule. Okay, by general rule. It means when the numbers are given of different digits. Now we can see here it's 2 digit, here it's 3 digit, and here it's 4 digit. So whenever if the number is 2 digit, we have to round off to nearest tens. When the number is 3 digit, we will round off to nearest hundreds, and when the number is 4 digit, we will round off to nearest thousands. Okay, so now we will find the estimation. 47, the nearest number to 47, nearest tens we are going to find out. Why? Because according to general rule, when 47 is given, it will be rounded off to nearest tens. Why? Because it is 2 digit number. So 47 is nearer to 50. 47 is nearest to 50. Now we will take the next number, 132. Now here, as it is a 3 digit number, we are going to round it off to nearest 100. Nearest 100. So 132 is the number which lies between 100 and 200. So 100 and 200. 132 is nearer to 100. So the estimation of 132 is 100. Let us take the next number, 3621. Okay, now as it is a 4 digit number, we will round it off to nearest 1000. Nearest 1000. So the number lies between 3000 and 4000. After that we have 6. After that we have 6, which is nearer to the 10. So the number 3621 is rounded off to 4000. Is rounded off to 4000. As we have find out the round off or the estimation of these numbers, we will add now. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. Again 5 plus 0 plus 0, 5. 1 plus 0 is 1, and here 4. So the estimation by general rule, we got the answer as 4150. Okay, so this same you can do it for subtraction and multiplication. Okay students, let us see the next question, which is asked by many of the students and which is the new concept for you regarding expanding brackets. Regarding expanding brackets. Okay, so this is the new concept and it is very important as well as easy. So let us solve one example. 103 multiplied by 104. This is the question and we have to expand this. We have to expand this. Now in order to expand this, first of all we are going to expand it. The bracket is given 103. So we are going to expand this bracket as 100 plus 3. Okay, we have expanded this bracket as 100 plus 3, which is nothing but 103, which is nothing but 103. Now the same bracket, the other bracket 104, we will be expanding as 100 plus 4. We will be expanding as 100 plus 4. Now the first bracket will be multiplied by second bracket. So 100 into 100 plus 3 into 100. Okay students, first 100 is multiplied by 100 and 3 is multiplied by 100. Now let us take the next number 4, that is into 100 is multiplied by 100, again 3 is multiplied by 4. Okay, so let me explain once again. 100 multiplied by 100, 3 multiplied by 100. Then again the same number will be multiplied by 4. 100 multiplied by 100 and 100 will be 3 will be multiplied by 4. Okay, so let us see, 100 into 100, 10,000, plus 3 into 100, 300, into 100 into 100, 10,000, plus 3 into 4, 12. Okay, so now we have done this. Let us add it. So 10,000 plus 300 plus 10,000 plus 300. We are going to add this. So 10,000 plus 10,000, 20,000, 20,000 plus 300, 20,000, 300 plus 12, it becomes 20,312. 20,312. See, once again I'll explain. First bracket should be multiplied with first number, and then first bracket should be multiplied with second number. So in this way we have multiplied it and find out the answer of expanding brackets. So these were the doubts which were asked from maths. Now we are going to see the doubts from science. Okay, so let me read the questions one by one and then I will clear it. So the first question is asked as there are the sources, the main two sources of food are plants and animals. Okay, are there any sources other than plants and animals? The question is asked from the students. So the answer is, as we know, the two main sources of food are plants and animals. Besides this, there are also sources of food, that is, it includes various edible fungi. Okay, that means it is not obtained from plants as well as animals. It is obtained from a different kind of species called fungi, and the answer is mushroom. So mushroom is a different kind of food which we get other from plants and animals. So in the same way, different types of bacteria are used for fermentation also. As you know, for idli and dosa batter, the process fermentation goes on. So for that fermentation, the bacteria is also used, and to prepare the conversion of milk to curd, also a lactic acid bacteria is used. So yes, there are the sources other than the animals and plants, and the answer is fungi and bacteria. Fungi like mushroom and bacteria like lactic acid bacteria, which are used as food by us. The next question is, why humans are omnivores? As you know, students, we are having two sources of food. One is plant source. The people who eat the plant and plant products are called as vegetarians, and the people who eat animals and animal products are called as non-vegetarians. So humans are eating both the products which we get from plants as well as from animals, whether it may be the flesh of chicken, or it may be eggs, or it may be milk or the milk products. All the things we get from animals. So humans are omnivores. Humans are omnivores as we get or as we eat the products which are obtained from both plants and animals. So humans are said to be omnivores. The next question is, do we eat any aquatic plants? Yes, not in India, but in different parts of the world, lotus stem is used. The seeds are used as poppy seeds or the corn. The seeds of lotus are light in weight, and it can be roasted and eaten like corn. So yes, aquatic plants can be eaten, and the examples of the aquatic plants that we eat are lotus stem, water chestnut and cranberry. So these are few examples. So the next question is, which food is more nutritious, whether the sprouts or the pulses? As you know, both are very important, but if we want to choose among the sprouts and the pulses, which is more nutritious, is the food sprouts. As we know, sprouts contain high levels of fibers, vitamins and minerals. fibers, vitamins and minerals as compared to pulses. More amount of fibers, vitamins and minerals as compared to pulses. So sprouts are more nutritious than pulses. The next question, if a person does not eat for few days, what will happen to him? Or if the person is not having even water, as we can tell that if we are not eating food for 1 or 2 days, we may feel weakness. But if we are not eating food for many days or from a long time, then what happens? The person, whoever is fasting or not having food on time, he will not get proper nutrition to the body. He will be feeling weak. He will be feeling busy in doing any of the work, and many more things will happen to him. So proper diet is needed and proper timing should be followed to eat the food. The next question is, what is meant by pisciculture, apiculture and poultry? As we know that in India many of the people are non-vegetarians. So for rearing of these different kinds of species, there are some farms like poultry. Poultry is nothing but it is a domesticated farm. It means the humans domesticate birds like chickens and all, and they grow there so that they can send to all the parts of the India. So poultry means where the birds are domesticated for use or for the food. The next, apiculture. Apiculture is maintenance of bee colonies. As you know, we get the honey from honeybees. So apiculture is a process where the honeybees collect their nectar and they prepare the hives. So these hives are maintained by the humans. The hives which the honeybees store the nectar in them are maintained by the humans. So maintenance of bee colonies, hives made by humans, and rearing of bees and protecting them, giving proper care, nourishment and all. So this process is called as apiculture. This process is called as apiculture. And then the last is pisciculture. It means the rearing of fish. Fish is again a rich source for food. So pisciculture is, it means rearing of fish in a pond, lake or the rivers. The fish are reared, breeded, and a good variety of fishes are produced so that we can get a good fish to eat. So these were the doubts asked by the students of grade 6th for science and maths. Now Elizabeth teacher will be telling you few doubts asked by the students from English. Okay students, thank you.
Hello children, welcome to our doubt session. Now as Snehal teacher, she has solved your doubts, most of the doubts for maths and science. So here myself, I am Elizabeth teacher. So we are going to solve for the English. So children, I have found some questions from your side. Means you have some doubts regarding English subject. That is, the first thing is what? Main thing is what here? They have asked me that in some cases many students, they have not collected their stationery, so they have a doubt where to write the notes. For this thing you are going to write the notes in your last year's notebooks, whichever you all are having. The second thing is what? Bifurcation of for the English subject. Bifurcation, how you are going to do? Suppose you are having 200 pages notebook. You have a 200 pages notebook. You have to bifurcate into two sections. One will be for prose and poetry, this section, and the other section will be for supplementary reader. Here you are going to write for prose and poetry question and answers for the literature part, and for the supplementary for the next part you are going to use it. So this will be the bifurcation for your classwork notebook. Then second thing is what? For grammar. For grammar you are going to maintain one 100 pages notebook, and in that 100 pages notebook whatever notes regarding grammar I am going to give for you, that all notes you are supposed to write. Here also you are going to make two sections. One will be for grammar and the other will be for here at the back for the writing skills. So here one section for grammar, the other section will be for writing skills. There you are going to write essays, letters, paragraph writing, stories, and many more things. And here this part will be for grammar notes. So this way you are going to bifurcate two notebooks, 200 pages for English classwork, one section will be for prose poetry, second will be for supplementary reader. And second thing is for grammar, one section 100 pages notebook, one section will be for grammar, the other section will be for writing skills. So the other thing again they have asked that okay, so now here in case of grammar how you are going to complete. Okay, see, it is not very easy that whatever things I write on the board and at the same time you are not able to copy down immediately. So children, don't worry about this thing, because what I am going to do, I will be doing the explanation and you have to read it. I will be giving the explanation as well as with the help of the examples. Only you are supposed to listen it, and you can note down also there and there itself. If you have sufficient time, you can write there whatever notes are given. But if you are not able to complete it on the time, what I am going to do, as you know, as we send the notes as in the form of homework, so that time I am going to send you the notes, I am going to send you the PDF, so you can go on copying down the notes in your grammar notebook. Then the other thing is what, here again one more, see whatever contents of grammar are there in your Holy Faith grammar, we are using Holy Faith grammar book, but in that what is happening, the contents are not arranged properly, means they are arranged properly, but if you go according to that will be jumbled up. So we want to go according to the sequence. For example, if I want to tell you I am teaching sentence, and immediately if you see the other topic may be there, you can say this one, articles. So it is not in that form. We are going to go according to the sequence. First we'll be having the types of sentences or the sentence, then later on subject and predicate, then parts of speech, then all 8 parts of speech we'll learn, and then afterwards tense. Means we are going to go in a sequence to you, so you don't get confused that teacher is not going to according to the contents, because I am going to arrange the contents very properly in the sequence, so that you will be able to understand, means each are related to each other. Each contents are related to each other, so we are going to go according to that. Then one more thing is that all the notes, whatever notes we are sending on a particular day for English subject, you are going to copy there and there itself, because if you keep it pending, you are not going to solve, you are not going to write very soon, because we don't know the reopening of the school. So there and there itself you are supposed to copy the notes at the same time. Also you are going to write it very properly, you are going to practice the examples, whatever grammar examples I am going to give you. And also some children, they ask me that whether it is compulsory to write in the textbook. Yes, it is necessary to write in the textbook, because those questions will be asked, sometimes will be asked for the, in case of the passages I can say, or in part of the literature part I am going to ask you those questions. So it is very necessary to write down in the textbook. And students, you are supposed to attend the online classes, or you can see whenever we are teaching on the TV channel, you are compulsory going to attend it, because if you skip any of the episode of grammar, you are not able to understand it very properly. So it is very necessary that each and every episode you have to attend, because suppose I am teaching the sentence and the other episode will be types of sentences, you are not going to understand. It will be a sequence. So if you want it in a proper formation, you have to attend the online classes regularly. And then one more thing, see, students go through textual grammar once at least in a week. Here also children, they have a doubt that ma'am, in the textbook also we are having the textual grammar. You can see communication is there, language skill is also there, but there also it is very necessary that at least once in a week you just go through it, you just go on reading the textual grammar also, because it's not that whatever I have given in the notebook you are going to read only that, or you are going to learn only that. Grammar is not a learning part, we can say. It is very necessary because you are going to use the grammar for your improvement of English. So it is very necessary to go through the textual grammar at once in a week. And one thing is what, just before attending the online class, you just don't sit blank or don't sit with empty hand. You have to carry your notebook along with you, you have to carry your textbook with you, and even the syllabus or the contents, you have to see what the teacher is teaching. And if you have any doubts, don't keep it in your mind, or just don't wait for a long time. Whatever doubts you have to clear your doubts on the right time, because we have the Google Meet, isn't it? There also you can ask your doubts, or you can, we have the school WhatsApp number. There also you can send your doubts over there, right, in the writing. And whichever the doubts are, the properly you write it, properly you keep the doubts very clearly. And we always welcome you to ask your doubts, because if you ask your doubts on the right time, your doubts will be solved, and you won't be having any difficulty in writing any other answers, we can say, or for the grammar part, because English is as it is a global language and it is essential for all the subjects. So you are supposed to just go on reading the textbooks, or go through the grammar section, so that wherever you have any doubts, or if your doubts are not cleared, if you have not understood any content, there and there itself you write down the doubts in one of your notebook, and the next meeting you can ask us for those things. So children, again I want to say that you are always welcome to ask your doubts, and we are there to solve it. Thank you children.